Astronomers estimate that the chance of a large asteroid hitting the Earth with catastrophic consequences happens around once every 100 million years. But smaller asteroids, which burn up or explode harmlessly in the atmosphere, are much more common. Curtin University's Professor FRED Jourdan joins us now. Professor, how concerned should we be about an asteroid hitting the Earth?
Well, to be honest, that doesn't keep me up at night. It's okay. But now and then we hear about like a decent sized asteroid passing nearby in between the moon and Earth. And that was undetected until a day before. So sometimes it happens. Now we get bigger one that can create a massive effect. So it's like, yeah, we can detect them. But if we don't, then the consequences are really terrible. So that's the state of things we are at the moment.
So no panic just yet. Now you've found that there are two types of asteroids and we should be more concerned about one over the other. Can you explain?
Yeah, absolutely. So the asteroid type that people are most familiar with is the monolith asteroid. So, you know, like the movie 2001, the monolith, it's a single piece. That's what I mean. So people imagine this mini planet, and yeah, this is true. We have some like that, like Vesta or Ceres, but most of them, they are not like that. They are called rubble pile asteroids. So, you know, rubble pile, a pile of rubble, that's exactly what they are. They are fragments of previously monolithic asteroids that have been destroyed during collision, and those fragments, they just reassembled together, and they form this decent size asteroid, like 1 kilometer, 2, 3, 5 kilometer in diameter, that are very different in structure compared to monolithic asteroid.
Which one's more dangerous?
So it's not about danger per se, it's about numbers here, I would say. So monolithic asteroids, when they are destroyed, they are going to reassemble in rubble pile asteroid. And our research showed that those rubble pile asteroids, they're extremely resilient. So what we did is we analyzed one sample returned from one of those rubble pile asteroids, and all the models were predicted that those rubble piles, they survive hundreds of millions of years at best in the asteroid belt, and we dated the formation of this rubble pile at 4.2 billion years. Now that's extremely old. This is about almost as old as the solar system itself. So that means they are really, really resistant. But that means the more you form them, they accumulate because they don't go anywhere. They are not destroyed. So when I say they are sort of both dangerous, but the problem is the rubble pile one, they become more and more abundant. So the chance that one of those rubble piles is hurling through Earth is greater than one of the monolithic ones. So that's why we really need to understand those better. And that's what our research did, because we realized that they are way more resistant to bombardment than what people saw. Again, what I mentioned before is that they were supposed to survive in the asteroid belt for hundreds of millions of years. So being resistant, but not so much. During many collisions over the history of the solar system, they would just fade away, being progressively destroyed. But they are not. They just stick around. 4.2 billion years for asteroid Itokawa, the one we analyzed. So, okay, they are more resistant to bombardment. So they are harder to destroy if you want to destroy them directly. And, you know, when people imagine how to defend Earth against those collisions, they are thinking about blowing up those asteroids. But that's science fiction, that's movies. It doesn't work like that. Recently, there was a fantastic mission by NASA. They sent a mini spacecraft to impact an asteroid to deflect it. So deflection is something which is more useful for planetary defense.
And so that's the approach that would work, a deflection if there was a real threat to the Earth.
Probably that would be the most efficient. And they did that. It turns out that the asteroid they did that on, Dimorphos, was a rubble pile asteroid. So we can learn a bit about it. So it works. They deflected a tiny bit. But the conclusion of all that was, okay, this tiny deflection worked, but it needs to be detected years in advance, if not decades, right? But what happens if you detect it a month or 3 weeks? What do you do? And that's where our research comes in. Because they are so resistant, we proposing that, well, okay, so they can take a punch or two or a blast. So if you push them not with a mini spacecraft, but let's go crazy, a nuclear explosion just nearby, then the shock wave is going to push them much more aggressively. But they can take a beating. So they're going to be pushed and not destroyed. Because again, the last thing you want to do is to destroy the asteroid. So why is that? People are like, well, it's a good thing to destroy the asteroid, isn't it? Okay, let me give you an example. You live in Australia, like me, and US decide to blast an asteroid to save themselves. So because the asteroid was supposed to fall on New York, not good, right? So they're going to blast it, but then the prediction makes that if we do that, some fragment they're going to come right on Australia, in Western Australia, Perth, the city where I live. No. Now, what we get? We get war after that because people don't want to have the fragment and stuff, so it doesn't work. Plus, the destruction would be, like almost as severe as if you don't destroy the asteroid. So pushing them away solve it for everyone, and that was the good news with our research. We can do it aggressively because they are so resistant.